Wealth through digital tokenization. Moderated by Dunstan Teo.
Hi everyone, this is Rico Pang. I'm moderating on behalf of Dunstan Teo. He's supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it back. He's still in the States. So yeah, welcome to today's panel. We have Sergey, Jean, Adrian, and Eddy. I think we are missing Jean at the moment. So yeah, without further ado, I know that most of us here are from the crypto space. And as we all always talk about, 2% of the people's population's wealth are probably here, maybe 1% today. Why don't we start with Adrian?
Good evening. Thank you very much for being here today. We've discussed about this statistic before the event. Always in what we are doing, the most persistent when everybody else is quitting are the ones who are reaping the rewards. My name is Adrian Niculescu. I'm a Romanian entrepreneur and investor. I'm involved as CMO with CloudCoin Consortium. I'm also advisor in few projects. I do partnerships with venture funds regarding their blockchain and crypto projects, and list especially venture capital-backed coins and tokens on landtoken.com. And I see myself as a contributor in this space, so very grateful to be here today in the presence of you gentlemen.
Thank you. Sergey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. From this stage today, I'm going to talk about tokenization of the real estate. I don't know what to do else here in Dubai. Everywhere around, there's so many real estate, so many things, and the company name is Real NFT. We'll take the reality to the NFT as ownership. That's going to be about conversation for today.
Cool. Thank you, Adrian. And Eddy.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm Eddy Travia. I'm the CEO of Coinsilium Group. We have been investing in blockchain since 2013. Our shares are traded in London and the US. And well, we have been mainly started investing in equity back then in a lot of interesting blockchain companies. And of course, the market has grown a lot. And lately, we have been looking at DeFi and NFTs as well. And we are also interested in the next big thing, as we all see it coming, the metaverse as well. So very happy to talk about wealth and digital tokenization here today. Thank you.
Great. So I think most of us have experience in investing into different projects, and even real estate is coming up as well. There's many ways of wealth creations, and through digitalizations, there's so many tricks and challenges, as well as risks involved. So please take our advice not as a financial advice, and please do your research before you make any investment as a disclaimer. Sergey, I'm very interested to know what you're doing in the tokenization of the real estates. Could you tell us more? How is that possible in UAE, especially the crowd over here? Thank you.
You know, so many people abroad, particularly from Ukraine, from Russia, from the Europe, they're trying to invest in assets which understandable for them on the beginning. Even everyone here on the planet, they're talking about crypto is the next big thing, this is next digital money, blah, blah, blah stories, but no one exactly understand what is backed for. And once I'm starting to talk about, or just explain that behind this money or this token backed by the real estate, they say, wow, now everything is understandable for me. This is for them, of course, in the beginning it looks like the security token, because otherwise you cannot do that. But once they realize it's real utility for them, because real estate you can use for yourself on the beginning. You can live there, you can take it for rent, you can take it for finally you can sell it, and it's understandable amount of money, this understandable price, it has understandable value for them. By the way, this is this is the first step. It's about tokenization. But the second one is about ownership. Once you are opening your wallet and, for example, showing to other people that looks all this interesting ape, for example, or boring app, I don't know who it has, the value comes from the creator, right? What kind of value he took them to. But the value of the real estate as ownership is also understandable for the people. And we are, as a company, send each and every unit like NFT and creating ownership, put it into that NFT with all the documents behind it. We're taking persons passing through KYC, taking them from the money management. By the way, it's very understandable process. Once you are paying for the one real estate for one unit in your, for example, USDTs, and back in your wallet having NFTs, this is 100% proof that your money goes right for this unit, goes back via NFT. Maybe it's also the proof of the ownership. And in digital space is proven. In real life, that proof comes to the government, comes from the generation. I think this is next solution, and we have to even try.
Thank you, Sergey. So what you're saying is that in UAE, real estate can be digitized as some of these land title asset holding documents are already on blockchain in UAE, and which is why the relationship can be built already on the digitization of the real estate, and transfer ownerships, REIT, everything can be done already in UAE. That's very, very amazing. I mean, most of people here would not be aware of that yet, and which means you can actually own the real estate in the wallet by holding an NFT. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Adrian, why don't you share some of your portfolios and how you have actually managed to generate wealth through some of the tokenizations?
Two things I would like to point out. First, to put something on top on what you said. In the NFT space, there is a little new trend, a new word called NFA, non-fungible assets, and it's very related with what you said. I would like to move the discussion a little bit into the startup world, where actually startups today have this unique ability still in a non-regulated space to acquire users by print new digital assets. And coming from the venture capital world, where we were used to say, okay, when investing, we need to invest in equity, to have ownership in the project. This is a change of paradigm, and many classical VC funds either are creating funds especially for this market. They add money and purchase tokens to a certain strategy they have, or create hybrid funds to be able to access this market. Of course, and always I say when I'm looking at the project, first I'm looking at the team behind the project, because even if a project may fail, if the team is good, either they will be able to pivot the project, or they will be able to save it, or somehow it will happen. So it's very important, the people behind the projects, to be ethical, to be hardworking. And after that, I'm looking at the technology, if there is any technology innovation, not to be just a copycat with no value. And of course, if it has the chance of mass adoption, at least in a dedicated niche, like you said, real estate. If we are talking about the project which can become the go-to project in the real estate niche and become a category king, this is a very important thing to look at.
So in the midst of the bearish market, I'd like to ask you, gentlemen, what do you think is a good point of reference or analyzing of the market in terms of the current market?
So you're asking about, sorry, the point of reference?
In terms of investment, point of reference.
Okay. Well, I think it's important first, I mean, these are good examples of what can be done now with digital tokenization. I mean, it's important to take notice of the fact that we have gone a long way since, Bitcoin. And we have reached a time when, people understand we have reliable technology, we have store of value, and now we have this type of applications, which are, for example, I agree, in the startup space or in the real estate, on the NFT and assets. And I think what has happened is we have moved on from being, let's say, wealthy with digital tokens to we're going towards becoming wealthy digitally. So I think it's a big difference in the sense that a lot of the wealth can be now transferred into a digital representation. I mean, the concept is not completely new. We have had for a long time, virtual money in the sense that there are many examples throughout history where you have assets, for example, in a treasure somewhere, in a chest, in a temple, a palace, and people are trading with units of value which are backed by this, right? So this is a very old model. But in the new model, we are actually moving this wealth into the digital era, and we're creating a new state where there is actually no political intervention at the moment, at least, or reduced political intervention, which I think is very important. So I think we are going there, and we're going there where we can have the potential, of this tokenization process. Now, what is important is that what you're describing sometimes can be also seen as securitization, right? So basically taking any kind of company or assets and transforming it into securities or fractions. Okay. And I think that's just the first step. I think digital tokenization is much more interesting. I think we can do much more with it. So for example, real estate, I guess you look at fractionalization, the same with maybe startups. So I think there are many, many new elements that we can bring to this aspect. And I like to call that the digital overlay, right? So we have all these assets like real estate, like companies that are producing something, maybe factories even, productive assets. And we create this token overlay on top of it. And eventually I think, and I hope, we may get to the point where everything is tokenized, right? So it's a huge shift of wealth in the world of tokenization, and I think blockchain technologies that are here around the world are building the foundations for this shift and this transformation.
Great. I think we have been focusing a lot on the wealth in terms of monetary value. I think the wealth that we can also look into through the tokenization is the wealth of the data and the content that we can actually bring into this ecosystem, where the technology is used to automate a lot of processes and processing a lot of data. And with the use of artificial intelligence, you can do a lot more interesting stuff. Sergey, would you mind to share with us some of your latest, views and experience with Metaverse?
So many people around trying to explain metaverses however they can. But I think the main idea, or on the beginning, is to copy the real world to the metaverse and try to explain that experience even there. Look, my kids, they just right now believe in more in maps. They believe in the same objects which appears in a real life, in a digital space, and they are relying on the information comes from there. I think even right now, we see so many boosts, like we see so many information comes from there. But if we wear some glasses and see the same information about themselves which represented in the real world, I think we can, in that case, make it much more cheaper, much more understandable information for us. Because in a real life, we cannot represent everything because we have limited space for them. But in metaverses, this is some advantages, or this is some the reality more expanded place where we can represent it somewhere. I think if we go for that direction, if we can represent information about some assets from the digital lives take it in a virtual place and be more informative up there, that makes sense. Because if, like, I'm talking about the perspective, for example, of the real estate. If you're doing the same real estate from real life to the digital life and trying to explain me, okay, you can go through the streets, find this object, or you can live there, it not makes sense for me. But if you can, on the beginning or on the just development stage, represent that real estate or some assets for me in a digital life in much more presentable stage or in much more understandable place for me, I think that's the point for me to take attention, or that's the point for me to present something really valuable for me. This perspective for me, I think we have to find that path on the beginning. I don't know where we should, or know what kind of challenges we'll face after 5 or 10 years. No one knows. But on the beginning, if you are creating something understandable and something touchable for you, even in digital space, that makes sense. The same story about our presence in the metaverses as well. I'm not sure that we are ready as humankind. We're ready to get our presented on some kind of images or some kind of avatars. We get tired of it. We would like to present ourselves. But if we have the same feelings like in real life, somewhere in metaverse, and can explore around the planet like we do in the same in real life, I think that makes sense more. I don't know. This is my vision because I see what kind of attractive have my kids, and I'm relying on their feelings, and that I finally realize this is the best path to go through.
Definitely, I think you're learning a lot from your kids and what the trends are and what the kids like. Adrian, would you mind to share some of your views in terms of what the Web3 development has been and where are you seeing that trend going to?
First, to refer to the previous question, one of my goals is to be so creative, to be very hard being replaced by a robot. But in the same time, in the metaverse, I'm creating my digital twins. And I would like to outsource some of my tasks to them. For example, I don't know, managing a virtual property, collecting rent, and other things. Metaverse is a very good tool for personal development because when you are creating your twins in Metaverse, they can be from the start the best versions. You don't need to work for years to transform yourself in a certain way. You can do this in minutes in Metaverse. And also you can build your mansion just like that, And the most important thing is because the investments world is changing so fast and we have metaverse until something else will be invented, we need very fast to unlearn what is not serving us anymore and to learn very fast, even from our kids. And I have 3 at home, and always they are my advisors from the new world. And we need to learn very fast what can help us and to be flexible like the water, following our goals related to wealth, related to development, but using a GPS, not a map, because sometimes the direction will change. If we just want to go in that direction, maybe we'll not be able to reach our end. And flexibility comes from the real wealth we have at disposal, which is here, and which has to be renewed all the time. And even staying in this room, we benefit from what is called immersion effect. We learn from people who are more advanced than us, as I learned from you also, in different aspects. And all the transformation and all our success in the future will come from within. And metaverse is like a play field, which is a little bit empty right now. You can see here and there NFTs, some cities, but I don't know, maybe a UFO world will be invented, or some other species will come to tell us that we here are in the metaverse, Who knows?
I think the best thing to to use the metaverse as a testing platform in your real life, because in real life you don't have any choice, only one shot. In metaverse you can choose and lose. This is the best thing to use it as well.
And I think also to bounce on this is that what we need soon is interoperability in the metaverse, because we have all these new metaverse coming up. Of course, some here, some new ones coming. And we need this to communicate, make sure the NFTs will, transfer from one to the other, etc. And have all these applications, these great games that these studios are developing that can work on multiple metaverses. So I think interoperability again comes back in the conversation and in the as an important element of what's going to happen in the future. Yeah.
Of course, transferring of wealth cannot happen without interoperability. If the wealth from one blockchain can't be passed to the other one, I think that will be a big issue for a lot of people here. But I think looking at the trend of Web3 developments and integration of different cross-chains protocols, we are quite looking forward to a lot of innovations, especially young generations. And I think the wealth of knowledge and wisdom is so important for all of us now moving forward. Tokenizing data, tokenizing experiences is a trend forward. Thank you very much for your time today, all the panelists today, and have a nice night tonight at the party. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.